And here in Washington, lawmakers on both sides of the aisle pressing the White House to help Jordan to define its own ISIS strategy. Military veteran Congressman Scott Perry joins us. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Greta. Great to be here.
Nice to have you. So has the president given you any idea what his strategy is against ISIS and whether there's any indication whether or not he intends to adjust it, change it, or do anything different?
Well, I would use this as an indicator. Three senior generals recently testified at the Senate Armed Services Committee and described our national security strategy as confused, wandering, and directionless. And so when the president, if you ask, has the president given us an indication of if he's going to change the strategy? Quite honestly, I think most of Americans and myself, as a military, a member of the military, I wonder if there is a strategy and what it might be. It seems like it's very reactionary and ineffectual at best.
You use the term confused. Of course, I immediately go back to what Shepard Smith just told us, which is that he spoke to the foreign minister in Jordan, who says that Jordan is fighting in Iraq from the air, in Iraq and Syria, whereas our own Pentagon says that's not true. Jordan's only in Syria. And, you know, whether that's a huge point or not, the bigger point is that these are our allies. And wouldn't you think that we'd have a better grip on what each is doing?
That's exactly right, Greta. I mean, if we are working together, obviously the left hand needs to know what the right hand is doing. And as a matter of fact, when the king was in town, he mentioned the bureaucracy of Washington that is holding things up and holding up his ability to be more effective. And I think that the fact that we don't really know who's on first and what's on second, is a testimony to the fact that we aren't working very well together. And I would credit that, unfortunately, to the commander-in-chief.
Have you seen the video of the execution of the Jordanian pilot, and are other members of Congress actually sitting down and taking a look at it?
Yes, I have seen it, and I'm sure that other members have. We have talked about it on the floor and on occasion. It is horrifying, and I think it's just an indicator of more things to come. They are using these as training videos. Of course, they're using that to come against the United States and the West in general. And you know, this president has to start at some point acknowledging the threat that we have and identifying it so that we can fight it, and he just seems to refuse to get in the fight on that. He refuses to identify it so that we can come up with a coherent strategy, and that's really his job as a commander-in-chief.
You know, I expect sort of the Republican Party as the opposing party to be critical of how a president handles something, but I'm curious if you, in talking to members of Congress on the Democratic side of the aisle, are you hearing them now beginning to talk about, you know, lack of strategy or needing a new strategy to fight ISIS?
Well, I know several members that have served in the military or are currently serving in the military on the other side, and they're as frustrated as we are with the situation. They see these things happening. Of course, their constituents, their voters, the citizens where they live are talking to them about it. They're frustrated. They're angry about our lack of resolve, our directionless strategy, if you want to call it that. And this really does cross partisan lines. Republicans, Democrats want the United States and America. They want us to be successful, and they want our president to be successful, but he seems to be unable or unwilling to do so.
Congressman, thank you, sir.
Thank you. Great being with you, man.